You know how like when you're first playing guitar and because I used to play actually too, and
Oh, okay.
you just like the first like couple, I don't know, maybe like the first year of like playing, you just like memorize finger positions and you memorize, okay, that's a G, that's a D, that's an E, that's an E minor, that's an A minor, and you just like put it together and like you just use it based on memorization. Well, you
Right,
can't really, it's hard for you to write a song because you don't really understand the theory behind it. I mean, you
right,
could write a song, you it kind of like how you could play poker. Well, then when you learn the theory and you're like, "Oh, now I understand why these notes go together." It's the same thing with poker. Like, now I understand why these concepts are coming together, why I'm allowed to check raise at this frequency, why I'm allowed to fold at this frequency, et cetera, et cetera. And then you just start figuring out the game on your own, and it's just like everything becomes easier.
that
So,
was the perfect analogy.
hey guys, just wrapping up the last coaching session with Dan here. I just want to give you a little snippet of what it would look like if I were to be your coach. You get my phone number. You can text me at any time about hands or about poker life. Even if you want to just complain about a bad beat, although you shouldn't. Uh, and I offer competitive pricing. If you want, just talk to me about what you can afford or whatever, and we'll go over what you need. So if you do like this content, you like seeing me talk about poker, please like and subscribe. The first half of this video is going to be a hand analysis with Dan, and then the later half is going to just be more of the theoretical stuff. I'll leave timestamps below so you can skip ahead and enjoy. And don't forget, don't stop studying or I will take your money. If you were to bet, like what kind of sizing would you use?
Third pot.
Okay. I'd probably go bigger just so you know. It's kind of wet.
Okay.
Um, I guess
How big?
like two thirds. Or
Two,
half,
three.
maybe like half because it's multi-way. I forgot it's multi-way. I'm pretty sure I checked. Yeah, I checked.
So if the board's really wet and connected, then you're
Yeah.
not going to be betting range. You're going to be
Well,
betting two thirds.
so this is, I guess this would be like a hand that would help you like with the higher stakes because you're gonna be here often, and I think this is like a really um good hand to learn from. Like this is like a hand I think will separate. This is a hand that separates that has separated me from just being a 1-2 grinder. And I want to tweak your thought process because uh, the way sometimes you're thinking about hands is like, what's the answer? That's not that's not. I don't want you to think about it in terms like that. I want you to think about it in terms of like I need to think about this hand in a certain way, and then one of the possible answers will come to me, and let's see which one could be the highest EV. There's no like pure answer ever. So like
Mm-hmm.
the way the way I thought about the hand was this is super wet and like these guys are kind of like this guy like is probably a fish. I marked this yellow. You see this yellow marking?
Mm-hmm.
Um I marked him as kind of nitty. So like when he calls a big blind here, like I don't know, he's got to have something good. Maybe some kind of draw. But the reason why I want to split my range and like when you said like I want to bet range here. Like I wouldn't bet my range here because there's so much in your range that's just gotta fold and or just not work. So like, are you betting like? Let's go to GTO Wizard. Like, are you betting like pocket deuces here? This is the boundary
No.
range. Like yeah. So it'd be this range. Similar. It's like the same range. Queen eight, Jack eight. I mean, this is your range under the gun. These red, like when you're range betting, that literally means like you have all these in your hand still. I just don't think that's the way to go about a hand like this. You want to, I hate to say it, you do want to deny equity, but when you're betting big here, you're there is an exploit here. Can you kind of like figure out the exploit, I guess?
The exploit for who?
If you were to bet big here, like forget about what my hand is, forget that you have pocket kings. When someone bets big here, like when I bet big here, in this spot where I'm in the middle position between them two, why would a big bet be sort of exploitative against them, and why I'm not betting small for range?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so the exploit here is that simply their hands are too weak when they call, and when they raise, they don't have enough bluffs. Now you could think to yourself, well, there's certainly tons of bluffs here. There's diamonds, there's all the straight cards, king 10, well king 10's nuts, 9 10, ace 10, all those types of hands. There's certainly a lot of bluffs here, but these players who are kind of like fish, were definitely fish that I marked. When they raise here, unless they're a pure maniac, they aren't bluffing. They just aren't. They have pocket nines, like, or they have jack nine or queen jack. So the exploit is that you can play so easily against them. The problem is there's going to be a certain percentage of the time that they're going to blow you off a hand like king king. So that's why when you bet big, you need to have a really good hand here when you bet big. I think if I have pocket queens, I might bet and just get it in straight up. Even though, like I just said, when they raise, they don't really have many. If I mean pocket queens is only losing to king 10 only.
Hmm. So if they were to raise, you just try to get it in right there.
With queens and maybe jacks and
Hmm.
probably nines, but dude, you're only losing to king 10. So let's just go back to now this hand. So yeah, so first I would not bet big. Okay.
You would bet big, or
I mean
you would not?
I would bet big if I'm betting here, but I'm like almost
Hmm.
never betting. Second, you want to split your range into checking and betting here. There's no range betting. Okay. So now let's go back to the actual hand. I have pocket kings. I'm blocking king 10 heavily. There's only king of diamonds and only the king of clubs. Okay. So there's only two combos of king 10. Or two. There's only two kings plus the other. There's only a couple combos of king 10. He bet one into 650. He called. Okay, so before I get that. Okay. Now he bets one into 650 and he calls. Like think about
Well,
it,
like
like
you
in
said,
real life. Like this is a hand that happens, that will happen at HCL or whatever. Where do you play at? THC or TCH?
TNT.
TCH. TCH. I got weed on the mic now. At TCH, this will actually happen. Like a hand super similar to this. You're three ways. This crazy flop happens. You have an overpair. What are you doing in this situation?
um,
Guy bets small, another guy calls a small bet. What do you do?
raise.
Yeah, but like why? Also,
Well,
you can call, by the way. Like calling's fine, but I just like
I think I would raise here, but you said we're losing to King 10, but you also blocked that, so you have two of them.
yeah.
So we would be losing to any sets like nines, but they probably would have three bet with queens or jacks.
Hmm.
So I would probably just raise here and then see what like who calls. I mean, and then
Yeah. Why not call? Just wondering.
um, well, I think I'd raise to try to get like a heads up
Why do you want to get heads up?
because being multi-way is just not good.
Okay, so the
And
way
plus, yeah.
I mean the way I would think about this hand is like I have the best hand. Like I know it now. Now that these guys gave me more information, I know that I have
Hmm.
the best hand for sure. For sure. Do you honestly think Wolfie Am is betting 1/6, one almost 1/7 pot with Queen Jack or Queen Nine?
Well,
No.
you did say it was a fish. And like they do weird shit.
Okay, this is a great way to join GTO and exploitative together. What is GTO here if you have Queen Jack? It's a big bet just for the reasons why we just talked about. So this guy's not playing GTO. So if he re-raises you or he shows any aggression, he has a better hand than you. So now we can just fight his suboptimal play with with uh with a raise. I don't think thoughts like I want to get a guy heads up should be like kind of that shouldn't be like what you're going through.
Okay.
It should just be like I'm putting in more money in the pot because now I know I have the best hand, and I'm blocking the straights. And there's not many turn cards. The turn's gonna be so easy to play, don't you think? Like if a 10 comes, you just cry, right? Oh no, sorry, a 10 you have the nuts. Sorry. If like any diamond comes up, maybe any queen or jack, you just like try to get the showdown, right? Like it's so easy to play the next card. I think a king would be hard actually to play against. But you got to think of so you got to think like this instead of you know, where am I at in the hand or where what should I be trying to do in the hand like get him heads up and stuff. Think like I'm raising because I have the best hand and because it's so I know what my decisions will be on future streets. Because there's only a couple of types of cards that could come on the turn. A total blank like a deuce, a connecting card like a diamond or a king, or
An
uh
8,
yeah. So it's
7,
easy
10.
to play. It's easy to play against their range. They don't have it. So what happens here? I think they fold. Man, I wanted to see the turn. I think they fold. Oh, he does call. Awesome. Okay, sweet.
So a blank does
Okay,
come, but it
brings double
brings a
flush
backdoor
though.
flush. Yeah.
Yeah. So uh now what would be your thought process now? So this guy called. Remember, he bet 1/6. Just get
Um.
folded.
I would probably just check and try to get the showdown, like you said.
Well, I do want to get the showdown, but I don't really care about what I said earlier was the scare cards are the ones that I'd rather not bet and get to
Mm.
showdown. This is not a scare card. So
Okay.
I'm willing to bet here, especially holding the king of spades.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now it's less likely that he has a spade draw, but he really, really could have a diamond draw. So
Right.
I'm gonna bet. Remember, this four of spades is kind of safe, man. It's kind of safe.
So
I
what sizing would you go about 2/3?
I think
Or
yeah. 70 is my 2/3 type of bet, and I did go 2/3 here. So
so say he calls this. So 15-15. Uh, so it'd be 52 on the river, and the
mhm.
river brings a blank. What would you do 2/3 again?
um, I would jam probably.
Jam.
Jam or jam or yeah, probably jam. So it would be. Would you say it
So
was 50?
116 into $50 or 50 big
Um,
blinds.
oh, maybe go. I
I
Jamming
think
might
this.
not be it, but like
I
betting
think
for
the
value.
solver. I think the solver would bet about probably 60%.
Yeah. It's
Because I've been
funny.
doing a lot of that. The what you call it, that where you play against it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of helped me with my sizing a lot.
Yeah. Remember, this is single raised.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think I'm jamming because I'm in the middle of my range. If it's a deuce of clubs or deuce of spades, there is a difference.
But
I
I
th
have seen some weird ass shit from the solver too. So like it would bet like 75% on the turn, and then it bets like 10% on the river, which
yeah.
like I never would do, but it.
Yeah, 10% is really hard to like figure out. I actually haven't delved deep into it. But okay, so my final answer was after thinking about it because I had to think about where I was in my range. Um, I would I would bet like 2/3 or half, something like that. Not jam. You're right. Jamming's ridiculous. 116 into 50. That's
Mhm.
ridiculous. Yeah. Because then you're representing like backdoor. You're representing the flush.
I mean,
I
which you
think
could as well.
if you have ace king without like the ace of clubs, king of spades, I think jamming's better. But since you have kings,
Right.
and you're in the middle of your range, betting like 2/3 or something, that would be it. Yeah. Kind of a
Right.
crazy check raise.
That would be a perfect line for ace king of spades too. Anyways,
Yeah.
raising the flop and continuing on the turn.
Yes. Yeah. That's
But
why like your bluffs. There's a huge difference between kings and king and ace king here. You know what I mean?
right, right, right.
Yeah. So thinking about it more, if the deuce of spades hits the river with pocket kings, I'm betting like 2/3, maybe half. You know, kind of like a similar. That's similar. With ace king, either flush or not flush, you're jamming. I'm pretty sure. You know, betting 2x or something like that. Maybe pot. It doesn't really matter. Cause
Yeah, the EV difference between those sizings is usually not is usually the same on the river.
yeah, if there is a difference, it's very similar. And like,
Yeah.
remember, he's the effective, so it would be 100 into it's still 2x, whatever. Yeah, but the river, the river's kind of like the easy part. The hard part is
Hmm.
the flop and the turn, you know,
Hmm.
especially the flop. Um, I just want you to get away from these thoughts like, I should get him heads up or,
Right.
and then like this blank dude, like, this is a perfect hand to bluff on, or her perfect card to bet on, not bluff, to bet on.
Hmm.
Like you need to, think like about your range and see. There's no math here. We're just thinking about our range and their range and etc.
Right.
But anyways, yeah.